That can't be good. It's like a Rorschach painting or something like that. What do you see? It's like my dog after he ate a whole box of crayons and anyway. What is up, guys? Technicals Tinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for the day. If you're new to the channel, uninitiated or unfamiliar, I do 3D printing here at home, stuff to improve my life, fix things around the house, sell for money sometimes, or just generally show off and have a good time. If you're interested in any of those things, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Many splendid things going on today. I'm gonna take a small victory lap. I'm gonna consider taking a victory lap because I think we did it. We'll get to that. Have you had enough Orange Storm Giga centric content yet? What's going on in the rest of the printers? Obviously over here on the P1P, we came in here, let's go shoot a vlog and, you know, do B-roll while the printers are going. But P1P encountering a bit of an issue. I know what it was. I figured out what it was. I took this off and I'm like, I wonder why it fell. Well, I'll do the vlog and then I'll figure it out. I know what it did, what happened. I didn't have a damn plate on here. That can't be good. You gotta have a build plate on your printer for it to work right. I'm like, why did I do that? P1P is usually pretty reliable. So anyway, this is a fail, but what was it even? It's actually chain links for a cable chain. We'll get to that in a second. We've got other pieces of cable chain going over here on the FlashForge 85M Pro. Doing these in ASA. This is actually the first time I've ever printed anything in nylon. Or it's not nylon, nylon's PA. I'm getting all my letters mixed up. Fucking alphabet in here, man. Doing these in ASA over here on the FlashForge. So these are cable chain links for the Giga. Again, it's gonna be a Giga-centric video likely, but I wanted to at least lead in with some kind of different stuff. Down here on my super expensive annealing machine slash silicone bead dryer dealie, I kind of like to pop the door open every once in a while to kind of air this thing out. So I'm drying off silicone beads in here. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you know I'm like, oh, you don't need to dry your filament. That's for the birds. Don't do that. Well, I'm drying some filaments because some of these filaments, they actually do need it. So case in point, the ASA, I had it over here in my little filament dryer. The beads were all changing color, so I'm like, I really need to dry these things out. Also, my PA612 CF15, that needs to be really, really dry. Might as well throw my ABS in there, and I think I got some TPU. So I got a little tub down here with a little hygrometer in it to kind of monitor things. So I'm drying out the beads. I'm gonna keep those in there because there's a lot of things lately I've been printing in these, I don't want to say engineering material, anything beyond PLA or PETG, I'm just gonna call an engineering material. Even if it's not, like TPU is not really, I guess it could be. Focus. I'm drying out beads to keep filament dry. What's going on with this damn thing? I think I did it, Domino. I think I did it. Did I do it? Did Technicals Tinkers, the biggest idiot in 3D printing, actually build a Blue Storm Terra? I think I'm there. I don't want to say it. I'm going to jinx myself. But yesterday, let me show you what I did. We went ahead and we've been ramping up the speeds and ramping up the time of the print. So starting out, you know, print that takes 30 minutes, then an hour, then a couple hours. So I did one yesterday, a 10-hour print, started at first thing in the morning so it would be done by the end of the day. And over here, it's not the biggest model in the world, but doing the plate pulls live, as I like to do. You stuck on there. Z offset worked fine. I do not want to, I guess I can take the plate off, it's not gonna matter, but had a bit of a failure, which I just made worse. Not the printer's fault though. Man, this thing is on there. Holy shit. All right, so obviously this is a legless Greyhound because I just snapped his legs off, taking it off the plate. Why did his legs break? It was because you don't know how to make printers technicals. You're an idiot. Not my fault, dude. But the print was saved by the Infinity Flow S1 Plus. So I actually had this spool here, got hung up, not sure why, I guess it's kind of lightweight or bad cardboard or something, but Filament Cutters V2, you'll notice here it triggered, cut the filament, and it caused the second spool to kick in, and it saved the print, sort of. I mean, it did form this line here, and I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this, but you kind of see there's a line there. That's where the filament breakage occurred, and so there was a little separation in the model. I was hoping that it would stay together and it was just more of a cosmetic thing, but it does appear to be structural. But let's just ignore all that for the time being, because that's not on the printer as much as it is. Let's blame it on the filament, you know, because I don't want to blame Infinity Flow because it kicked in. is something to do with that spool. That spool doesn't turn very well, but I wanted to take a look at this model because this is the first proper model, I guess. I haven't even, I mean, I've kind of looked over it a little bit, but I wanted to take it in, look at it with you guys, get your thoughts and feedback on it. We'll take both our models. You know what, I'm just gonna take this and set it right here at the door so I bump into it and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to take that back in there. And so before we get too excited, let's take a look at a few other little things. You might notice here, I'm the last one in the world to get one, but I finally got an A1 Mini. I've had the A1, I have the P1P. A1's probably my favorite printer, just my #1 S tier printer that I have, but I've never gotten an A1 Mini before. This one's actually courtesy of Chidu Systems. It's for an upcoming project. Chidu's coming out with an automatic plate switching system, and I'll be covering that here in an upcoming video once I get that system. But it's designed specifically for the A1 Mini, and they asked if I would look at it. I'm like, I don't have an A1 Mini. And like, okay, we'll send you one. So they sent me this in preparation for that, just setting it up, familiarizing myself with it to get ready to do that. I love my A1. I love it so much. It's so convenient. It's my main time-lapse rig, or if I just need something quick, it's right here in my office. I really, really like my A1. The A1 Mini, this is about the cutest. I know this is old hat for a lot of you guys because a lot of people start with the A1 Mini, but this is just the cutest little babyest printer, and it's got all the same functionality of the A1. A smaller build plate, obviously. I don't have the AMS light on it, but it's just so compact and cute. I can tell that I'm gonna like it. Done a few prints on it already. Little bamboo bed scraper because I just needed something to kind of like print to see, make sure it works. So did that here. I was doing some more of those cable chains that I was mentioning earlier just to test fit. I needed to scale them and resize them, and it's sitting literally next to me. So went ahead and printed a few there. So I'm gonna be looking forward to using this in the future with Chidu's system or just in general. Very, very cool unit. I mean, everybody knows Bamboo's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. The A1 Mini, super cute printer. Enjoying having that here. Did a short recently, another from Dynamo 3D, another sort of character model thing. This is obviously from the Fallout series. So did a short there, a new season of Fallout coming out. Didn't do as heavy of a detail layer, like a fine layer on this one. I was trying to do it quick. Relatively simple model, not too many colors on the P1P and the A1 time lapse. So check out my shorts if you want to see it. Matt, put at least the time lapses here. You don't have to put the full thing. But overall, nice model. I was remarking in the last vlog about getting designs from designers who designed for FDM. Another example here, all the parts are kind of made to where he knows going in that these are a certain color, so it's not too many colors per plate, and the demarcations, the separation in color is more pronounced. You get a cleaner, crispier edge, more cartoony look. So again, like I was saying, a lot of the fine detail on the print, kind of like some bleed in from some of the other colors here. Examples too, I should have printed her leg sections going straight up and down. I printed them on the side to reduce my print time. And so like here you can kind of see, yeah, it's kind of rough, like some of the black bleeding in. Tried to smooth it out with a torch, but there's only so much that you can do. Additionally, the hair, yellow and black, the flushing volumes really need to be dialed in on that. Also too, can you tell I ran out of yellow and to switch to another kind of yellow. But overall, like at a distance, you can't tell if I just keep doing this. So cool model, I did the short on it. Dynamo, thank you again for that. If you want to check him out, links in the description below. I've got another few models from him to do, especially that horse model that I was mentioning last time, but that one's huge. That's gonna take a while for me to paint up. So very cool there. All right, so Orange Storm Giga, we did a benchy, a larger benchy. This was kind of the first, I'll say real print that I did on the Giga. This was before I really had the settings. I've been fine tuning them all along the way. So a little stringy, left all the strings in there. And I think the strings, I think I could stand to have retraction dialed up just a little bit more. I'm already at like 3 millimeters on retraction, which is heavy, but for the LGX Pro, I think that's within range. I might dial that up a little bit, or maybe even dial the temperature down further. I'm at 190 C right now on PLA. It's on the lower end, especially now I'm pushing 250 millimeters per second on the main parts of the print. But overall surface quality here, it's a 0.3 layer height and 0.6 line width, so it's not like a very fine detail. but kind of examining, it's not too bad. Still got some issues with, it's a little rough. It almost looks like I did fuzzy skin on this. And I'm not sure if that's from resonance, because I haven't done input shaping yet. That's something I hope to tackle today. I hope to put Shake Tune in Clipper today and run those checks. I'll probably completely remove my beds again and go with a different type of pattern. Previously, I did a combination of rigid standoffs and springs because some areas were just not working out, so I replaced those areas with springs to kind of get a finer detail, but then it would shift off other areas. Also, Matt, put up here, this is my mesh map. You'll notice on the sides, I have these cliffs, like it's just, it falls off. And so you're saying to yourself, well, it's because the edge of your bed is too low. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. Literally took pads of aluminum foil and jacked it up, and it still shows the cliff. So my thinking is that the beacon, I drew this, I asking a question, does the beacon scan straight down or does it scan in like a cone? And that makes sense to me if the beacon's moving towards the edge of the bed and it sees out of its peripheral, because it has chameleon eyes, the edge, and it just thinks like, oh, it's gonna fall off the edge. That's what's causing it. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is either tighten up my range, which I'd prefer not to do, or I think I'm gonna remove all the heat beds and put rigid all the way around. And the rigid is to keep a 0, meaning I know that the edges are 30 millimeters, and then all the interior standoffs are on springs. And that way, if I have variations like this, I can adjust those to get it flat, but the perimeter is at a set height. So that way I'm not doing this kind of thing. Anyway, Benchy coming out pretty good, but let's take a look at our Greyhound here, or it's a Greyhound model, but I'm gonna call it a Whippet because I got Whippets. So our Whippet here, pretty good. Here's the print settings. I'll put them up here. 0.3 layer height, 0.6 line width. Overall, you know, it's a thin model. I only did a couple wall loops, 2-3 wall loops on this thing. So, you know, it's decently solid. It's hollow. I think I did 5% lightning infill. Very solid on the top. Obviously the legs broke off because of that filament failure. It is also stringy. I'm not sure how well that will pick up. It is stringy, so leading me to believe that it's a retraction issue or possibly just still a little too hot. Like in feeling the filament, I'm not sure if anyone else thinks about this, but like I can kind of, it's almost like when I feel printed filament, it's almost like it has a texture when it's been overheated after it's printed, like especially on very thin stuff like this brim. It's almost like it becomes, when you break it up, kind of brittle. It doesn't tear as easily. And I think, again, that's because the tube has more heating area in it than the nozzle previously. And so I'm just apprehensive about dialing the heat down that low. But in reality, like I can do it. I can get away with it. So maybe I'll do some experiments with that. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. You know, I was really concerned with the time. So the Giga going for 10 hours, is it gonna get to that 8th hour and then it's gonna start to heat soak or heat creep or something's gonna give out? Like it's kind of, you know, I'm just increasing the amount of stress tests that I have on the machine. Obviously this little piece at the end, I need to put in a G code for machine end to retract filament back, you know, a good 5 millimeters or something like that, just to prevent that from happening. That's kind of a nothing burger. Surface finish, again, it looks like I did that fuzzy skin look, and I think it's probably resonance input, need to run some kind of input shaping. It's almost zitty, as if the temperature's too high. But I think maybe input shaping is gonna fix a lot of these issues. But overall, I mean, if you could kind of like put that out of your mind a little bit, not bad, dude. I mean, I don't like to be proud of myself because I think that breeds complacency, but I think I did a pretty good job with this project, dude. I can't believe I pulled it off. And not to jinx myself, but you know, throughout the process of doing this conversion, I didn't know anything. I mean, all of this is brand new to me, so I had to learn quite a lot, and I still don't know more than I know. Why am I sitting here breaking his legs off? And so there were many points throughout it. I was like, you know, this is just way too much. But overall, towards the end, you know, just kind of making that incremental progress, we've got some great results here. We've got this, we've got, you know, the big benchy. So quite, you know, still a few things to do, but I feel like, you know, we've got the entree here. You know, we've kind of made it to the other side. We have a print that took 10 hours to get off. The longest print I've ever done on the Giga was probably, you know, it's probably like 2 days. And so, you know, that's like a quarter way towards the longest print. But if you can do a 10-hour print and finish it without issue, stands to reason that you're gonna have a real shot at doing those 2-3 day prints. Things that I want to do with the Giga moving forward: input shaping, resonance testing. The beacon has an accelerometer on it, so I gotta drop in shake tune on there, do that. Try to get the beds as level as I can. Maybe, maybe not, because the first layer went down crispy clean on that one. I'm a 0.6 on my range across the entirety of the bed, so that's not too bad. I mean, maybe I leave it alone and go from there. Another thing, I want to get Moonraker, Crow's Nest going so I can start doing time lapses from the webcam. Went ahead and got this model here. I'll probably throw this up on my Maker World. It's a combination of, like, this is someone else's model. This is for the Logitech Brio webcam. I've got a couple Brios sitting around. They're 4K webcams, so they can deliver some pretty good quality. Brio fits into here, and this is just a primitive that I made to fit onto 3030 extrusion onto the gantry of the Giga. So this is gonna ride up the gantry as it prints, but for the wire, that's why I was printing those cable chains, because I can't have the cable, the USB cable, just kind of floating around in the wind, because it might get hooked on something, and then, like, you know, the gantry's pulling the wire and then it just kind of screws something up. So I want to keep the cable in a single plane. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Brio mount on there, and then I'll make a custom sort of thing, a new one of these, to hold the cable chain, so that way when it goes up, it can ride and it can move the cable chain along with it. Wrong way. Boop. The other thing too is, and I probably want to ask a few smart people about this. So print head over here, I haven't noticed any problems whatsoever, but the more and more I kind of like research into these various components, the tube gets quite hot. And so the tube conduction, you put it together, you put thermal compound between the tube and the frame, and the design of the tube, you know, it's got, you can see it's got, can you see that? It's got, you know, kind of like, it's kind of designed in a way to dissipate heat, and you put the thermal paste between it and the frame, so the frame catches some of that and, you know, affrays it. So it doesn't have active cooling on it, but everything I've seen kind of leads me to believe that maybe it should. Now, I'm not running this thing at 300 degrees, you know, at 1,000 millimeters per second, but I am running it for a long time, you know, for multiple days, and I'm not monitoring it. And so I think I'd have a lot more peace of mind if I put active cooling on here. And so I'm kind of looking into this now, and I'd really love to know what some other people think about this. Let me push this Y back a little bit so I can get a better shot. This area here is kind of, you know, ideal to put a little fan. I could mount it here. You know, I could maybe pull these screws out, because these just tie into the extruder. I could, you know, pull these out and just get a little longer ones, put some kind of adapter bracket, and then put like a little, probably a little 40 millimeter fan, and then tie in somehow for power, or I could mount it here to the side of the LGX and move it around. I did have some concern too about these fans. These are from the Elegoo, these little, you know, blower fans. I think they were like 1.2 amp or maybe 2 amp fans, you know, for cooling, because I was looking at it here, and the blowers kind of blow on either side of the nozzle. You know, one blows on this side and the other blows on this side, and the idea being is that it completely encompasses the printed part, but nothing really blows directly on it. So I'm wondering about new shrouds for the outlet for the fans, but really, you know, a fan here, active cooling for the tube. I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and prophylactically do that, just to kind of give me some more peace of mind for the future. Also in my research, I had no idea liquid cooling was a thing for 3D print. Whew, it gets deep. You know, liquid cooling for PCs, you know, computer parts, stuff like that. Yeah, I've done plenty of those. I've done, you know, custom loops and, you know, stuff like that. Just AIOs for systems. But for 3D printers, like, I had no idea, and that's something that people do. Tube actually makes a whole sleeve shield, you know, housing that goes on the outside that is a water block essentially, that just, you know, you run a loop of liquid back to a radiator, I suppose, to keep that cool, just to control the temperatures. Not sure I really want to do that. The idea of CPAP does intrigue me though, because I have plenty of room up here to mount a CPAP fan. Be very easy to, you know, bring down a CPAP tube. I'm already running a tube down for the filament, and you know, it's just, once that's in, you just recalculate the weight, I suppose, you know, up the amperage on the motors, and then do more input shaping to kind of compensate for it. I presume that's what you do. But it's kind of making me wonder, like, you know, am I becoming addicted to modding this printer? Because I've already gone this far. I mean, it's basically a brand new printer. Aside from the frame, you know, I didn't replace motors or belts or anything, but after doing all this shit, I can't imagine that that's any more complex than doing this. So, you know, do I take it to the next level, or do I just start with baby steps, like adding a fan to the front? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Hopefully get my new Brio mount on here with my cable chain that runs back up to the Raspberry Pi. Suppose we should turn it on for the day. Good morning, angels. So that is what's going on in my world today. Once again, thanks for all the input, feedback, comments, questions, or whatever in regard to this printer build. I'm not saying it's not done, obviously, but I feel like I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and it feels good. Let me know what you think about all these things in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's a nice thing to do, and of course subscribe for more content like this on the Technicals. See you next time.